I don't know about you guys, but I have been seeing these little face trio cream blush, powder blush, blush lighter, highlighter face palettes everywhere. I think they were first popularized by One Size, and now I've seen a lot of more affordable brands start to take inspiration, let's say, from that product idea. So I did pick up two. I picked up one from Revolution Beauty, and then I also picked up another one from Morphe, actually. So we're gonna be trying these both on. I'll give you my initial first impressions, some comparisons, some pros and cons, prices, all that stuff. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I already did foundation, concealer, bronzer, eyeshadow, lip, mascara, brows, you know. I will link every product down below. I do use links that give me a small commission. Feel free to not use them, but if you do use them, thank you so much for supporting my channel. It really means a lot. So today I want to use the Revolution Beauty one, and then I will come back a different day. It'll be the same video for you guys, and we will try the Morphe. The reason why I didn't want to do both today is because there's 3 different products. So I want to try the cream on one side, powder on the other side, then maybe put the cream on top. You know, I want to kind of play around with this. So we're just going to do one palette today and one palette next time. Same time for you guys. Okay, so anyway, this is the Revolution Beauty Icon Blush Palette. I have the shade Authentic Peach. It comes with one cream blush, a powder blush, and then a powder blush lighter slash highlighter, depending on your skin tone. The cream does have this little flap, which is really nice to, you know, keep the powders from flying in there. I will go ahead and insert some swatches for you guys so you can see the palette all swatched out. Let's go ahead and try the cream blush first. I'm really intrigued to see what this formula is like. So let me just feel it. This is the first time I'm feeling. I haven't swatched it yet. It feels like a very thin, balmy formula. Not super duper thick or pigmented right off the bat. There doesn't appear to be any shimmer or glimmer in the cream, in case you were wondering. Okay, let me get a brush. I really need to clean my brushes. Alright, I'm going to take this semi-clean stippling brush from BH Cosmetics and dip into the cream. Oh, that's pretty. On my skin tone, it's more of a pinky toned peach, not so orangey. Not the most pigmented cream I've ever tried. It's a very thin wash of color. I don't even know if you can really see that. In person, it looks very watercolor-esque, very natural, and also not the dewiest. So I think if you have combo, maybe even oily skin, this cream could work. Cool. Should we set this side and then try the powder? Let's do that. So I'm just gonna take my Physicians Formula Diamond Blur powder. I've been really loving this powder. So I'm just taking some on this little puff. I'm gonna set. I'm gonna take this little fluffy angled brush, dip into the powder. There's a lot of kick up. I don't know if you can see. Doesn't bother me, but something I wanted to note. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but in person, the cream side is actually a little bit more pink, whereas the powder, super similar, but almost a little bit deeper and slightly warmer. Seems to be, I would say, like a satin matte finish. There's no shimmer or sparkle. Nothing to write home about, but definitely blends out easily. No patchiness. Pretty good. Let's try to layer the powder on top of the cream. So I'm just gonna tap off the excess. Oh yeah, that definitely will make things very intense. Oh my gosh. That's normally what happens when you layer a powder on top of a cream, but yeah, just beware. It is really pretty though. And I think you can tell this side is obviously more intense, but I do think you can see a little bit more of that pink. And I think layering it is going to give you some more longevity as well. All right, let's try this highlighter because you guys know I love a highlighter. Just want to feel it. Ooh, that looks promising, like a pinky gold. Yummy. I'm gonna take my little handy dandy F5 brush from ColourPop. Now this might be slightly too dark. Wow. It's not bright enough really to be a traditional highlighter. It does sort of leave a cast on my skin, but layered over top of the blush, that is really pretty. Ooh, I like it. It's not super sparkly or glittery or anything like that either. I think it looks really wet and beautiful. Ooh, I like that highlighter. Well, to me, again, it's more of a blush lighter. Let's take a fluffy brush and see what that... I don't know if I should really be highlighting this monstrosity, but here we are. Oh, it's still really intense that way. I mean, if you don't want to glow, like, do not go in with that much, but I think that's really pretty. Very pretty. Just for funsies, let's try to layer the cream over top of the powder. And I'm actually going to use my finger. I know that with Patrick Ta, not with the one size, I don't think, but with Patrick Ta, a lot of people like to layer the cream on top of the powders. So I'm just curious if that will work here. It's just sort of getting a little cakey looking, a little bunchy. So I would recommend going with the cream first. I thought maybe it could work because it is more of a thin, slightly drier cream. I think your best bet is probably to go in with the cream first. I'm just going to quickly set the rest of my face and then I'll give you a close-up of the final look. Alright guys, so that is the finished look using the Makeup Revolution Icon Blush Palette in Authentic Peach. I really like this palette. I think it's very trendy. I like that you have the cream and the powder options. I like that you can get different finishes. The formula is solid, and I really like the highlight. I think the highlight is probably like my favorite part of this little trio. Separately, the cream and the powder are just good, average. So together, I give it a thumbs up. Is it my favorite formula of all time? No, but I do really like having it all in one place. So I do think I will get a lot of use out of this actually. In the next look, I will be trying the Cheek Thrills Multi-Finish Face Trio from Morphe. Let's go ahead and get on to the second look. Hey guys, so we are back. It is another day, but for you, it is instantaneous, and we are trying the other cheek trio. This one is from Morphe, and this is the Cheek Thrills Multi-Face Face Trio. I got the more peachy one called Beach Bonfire. There are a ton of really beautiful shades. Actually, I was very impressed by the shade selection. The packaging, I will say, is very nice. I just like how it's an opaque lid, but it reflects the color of the blush inside. I also like the reflective touch. It just gives like a Charlotte Tilbury, Patrick Ta sort of feel. Inside you get a nice mirror. That wasn't very satisfying. So in this one, actually, it's a little bit different from the Makeup Revolution, and I believe the one size. This one has 2 creams. The other ones only have 1 cream. So the highlight in this product is actually a cream. It does come with a little plastic protective flap, which is nice to protect your creams. So let's go ahead and try this out. I'm gonna kind of do the same thing that I did with the Revolution Beauty one. I'll do the creams and then the powder, and on this side, we'll do the powder and then the creams and see if it can work both ways. I really need to wash my brushes. All right, let me just use my fingers because my brushes are all dirty. So I'm gonna start off with the cream. It feels similar to the Revolution Beauty, just very balmy, but a little bit more dewy, I would say. Very pretty. Good amount of pigment right off the bat. Let's see if we can build it up. Yeah. It's not sticky at all, but the Revolution Beauty one dried down a bit. This one stays like a little dewy, but not sticky. Let's do the cream highlight now. I don't know if you can see the texture. It's just very thin. Not goopy like those Patrick Ta highlights. Now this might be a little deep for my complexion, yeah. I think this is gonna work more as a blush topper for me. Just a very shimmer, like not shimmery, but like almost a slightly metallic, but not overly so. I think it's really a really beautiful sheen. I mean, it's intense, so you know, I think if you go in with just this cream blush lighter by itself, it might be a little much, but layered just a little bit over top of that matte cream, you can sort of adjust the shimmeriness of your blush, if you will. That is really pretty. I really like that. Okay, let's try to set it with the powder now. Taking a fluffier brush. Not a lot of kick up on the brush. Did that? Okay, now it's picking up. And yeah, it didn't really dull down the shimmer, so this might be good just to like set everything in place, but not really change the finish of it. I think it is adding a little bit more pigment and making it more intense, or a lot of bit more pigment and making it more intense. But I do like that you can still see that glow peeking through. We are blushed. Holy moly. Okay, let's try the powder on this side first. Really pretty. Definitely more of a hardly pressed or firmly pressed powder, I should say. But I mean, you can definitely build this up. It's a buildable blush formula, blends out really easily. I like it. It's not overly powdery or pigmented, so you have a lot of control. Now let's try to layer the creams on top. Again, I'm just gonna use my fingers. This one actually looks a little bit more rosy than peachy, I would say. Whoa. That seems to be layering over top of the powder. Really nice. All right, Morphe. This is definitely performing really well. I would say the highlight or the blush lighter is not as seamless as the matte cream over the powder, but it's not bad. Just gotta be a little bit more careful. All right, we are crazy blush. All right, let me try to tone this down just a little bit, blend the edges because we look insane. Just trying to take the clean side of this Real Techniques brush just to get rid of any harsh lines. I'm gonna go ahead and set the rest of my face. I forgot to say that I did not powder this side before I applied the powder, and the powder blended out really beautifully. I meant to powder before just to give it the best chance of blending, but I forgot. So the fact that it can blend on top of an unset foundation is even more impressive. So I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly set everything else, and then I will be back to give you my final thoughts, first impressions on these two little face trios. Final verdict when it comes to the Revolution Beauty Icon blush palettes versus the Morphe Cheek Thrills Multi-Finish Face Trio. I think these are both good products. I think if you purchase any, if you're interested in either one of these, I don't think you'll be disappointed. In terms of price point, the Revolution Beauty one is definitely a little bit more palatable. However, I will say that although the Morphe is a little bit more expensive, it's still less expensive than high-end products, and I do think that this performs just as well as a high-end product would. I also think that the price point is reflected in the packaging. This packaging just feels a little bit sturdier, it looks a little bit sleeker, and the lid, I don't know if you can hear, this one sort of, you know, rattles around, whereas this one stays in place a lot better. If you are willing to spend a few extra dollars, the Morphe one is definitely going to give you a slightly more refined formula. I do think that the Morphe cream is a little bit juicier. It dries down just a hair slower, so you have to just work a little bit quicker with the Revolution Beauty one, and it doesn't apply well on top of a powder. Whereas this one, because the cream is a little bit more hydrated, I do think, I don't know, I just think it works better on top of a powder. Obviously, it performed really well on top of the powder. This one picked up the powder underneath, so you get a little bit more versatility with the Morphe. I also really enjoyed that this highlighter or blush lighter is a cream because it just melts into the skin really beautifully. It looks super seamless. It doesn't look highlightery or chalky on the skin. I don't know, I was just really impressed by the creams in this palette. And also the powder blush, seamless, easy to blend, easy to build matte powder blush, but I do like that this is a little bit more firmly pressed, but it's not hard to pick up. It's just really easy to control. You don't get a lot of powder flying everywhere. It reminds me a lot of the Juvia's Place blush powder duos, if you've tried those, and you know, if you've watched my videos, that I love those. So I really enjoyed the formula of this whole palette. Actually, I like the versatility of it. I think it's really pretty. But if you're not willing to spend, I think it's $18 for the Morphe palette, I do think that this is really nice as well. I think it's really beautiful. I think it's very pigmented. I think that the highlight is very stunning, very intense. However, if you do not like an intense highlight blush lighter, then you probably will not like this. You gotta like the glow. And because it is a powder, it's a little bit more intense more quickly, and it doesn't look as seamless on the skin. It's a little bit more, not chalky, but just powdery looking, I guess. The powder blush also, I think, is a little bit almost too pigmented and too loosely pressed, because you get a lot of kick up when you dip your brush into it. It's easy to blend, and you can just solve that problem by using a fluffy brush and just going with a light hand, tap off the excess, and you're gonna be good to go. It's just not as beginner friendly, I would say. You got to be a little bit more careful. And the cream I really liked. I think it was really pretty. It was easy to blend. It was a very thin, slightly drier formula. So if you have very oily skin, you might like something like this. It does dry down to more of a matte finish, so it's not going to stay sticky or anything on your cheeks. I also like the reflective packaging of this one. I do think that the Morphe looks a little bit sleeker with its opaque covering, but again, you're kind of paying for that with the price point. I hope this video was helpful. I hope that if you were interested in either of these products, that this helped you to sort of make your decision. I will say, if I had to pick, I would pick the Morphe. I don't think that this one is bad. I really enjoy this one as well from Revolution. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and also if you do shop any of the products that I have linked down below, most of them are not affiliate links, but they give my channel a slight commission, a very small commission, but a little commission. So if you do choose to shop any of these products, I would really appreciate it if you use my links, but no pressure. You don't have to at all. You being here is just enough. I love you guys so much, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.